What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. Today I want to share with you 4 things you need to consider when you're selecting a location or a site for a garden. Let's jump into it. Okay, so jumping right in, the first thing you need to really consider is sun orientation. That spot for a garden is going to need to get 6 to 8 hours of sun per day, especially when it's the summertime. So if you're selecting this site and it's January, one thing to look out for is it may seem sunny in a site during the winter time, especially if you have some hardwood trees around that have lost their leaves. So you may get more sun exposure during the winter time, but then that tree fills up and then it shades your spot that you selected. So just be aware of that. The second thing to consider is, what are you working with your soils? Here on our property, we have acidic, sandy, rocky soil. And the further we get up to the ridge on our property property slopes down, it's southern facing. It slopes downhill, kind of down into a valley. But as we get closer to the bottom of the valley, our soils get less rocky and they get better. So one tool that I would highly recommend you using, especially if you're on acreage, if you have an acre, 2 acres, 10 acres, whatever, is to do the web soil survey. It's by the NRCS, the Natural Resources Conservation Service. That's a service that is free to you, provided by the USDA, your tax dollars. And it is a fantastic tool. It's a little clunky old software, but it will tell you the different soils that you have on your property. So here on our plot, as we go uphill, our soils get ultra rocky. As we go downhill towards the valley, our soils get better. So that should dictate where you place your garden. If we were to place this garden at the top of the ridge, we'd be dealing with a lot of rocks. But again, we've got it further down the hill. And so a web soil survey, NRCS, it's a fantastic tool. Use that. The other thing with your soils is likely you're going to have to amend those. You're going to have to bring in compost, get some organic matter into that soil. I'm not going to go into that fully on the process of doing that, but I just want to talk about selecting that site. And so that's really important when it comes down to the soils. The third thing is, where does water flow on the property? This is going to take some observation. Go outside, put your raincoat on, and just observe when it's pouring down rain, how does water flow off your landscape? Where does it go? You don't want to put your new garden where all the water flows. There are going to be spots in your homestead where water is going to naturally move towards. So you just want to be really selective when you're selecting that garden plot. And you also, for instance, here on our property, we have a slope. So we put our garden beds with the slope so that the rain and the water can run through the walkways. If we put it the opposite direction and we put it perpendicular to the slope, then the water flow would wash out our beds. So just a couple really important things to consider there. And then number 4 is, you need access to water. You're gonna have to likely water this garden unless you just live in a really, really wet climate. So if you build your garden, 400 yards from your house, not only is it gonna be no fun getting to it every day, but also you've got to get water to it. If you're new to gardening and you have no clue where to start, but you're wanting to learn how to start your own seeds so that you don't spend an exorbitant amount of money at the nurseries, I've got a course available for you. You can click the link down in the description. It's a little mini course, and it's just teaching you to become a master at starting seeds.